Can you describe the feeling when you step on the ice at MSG?
The feeling. I remember, you stand in the locker room and you look up at the clock. Usually you walk out. It's 2 minutes, 10 seconds to go. The adrenaline starts going up. Your heart starts racing a little bit. And as you're walking out the locker room, you grab your stick and then you walk through this glass hallway. That's when you start hearing the fans. And then everything you're feeling just start to increase.
Yeah.
And if it's a big game, playoffs, I mean, it's just, you can't wait to get out there. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Club 30. I'm Henrik Lundqvist. I'm here with Jay Lydell. Last episode of Season 3, Episode 24. And before we get going with this episode, I just want to acknowledge what a season it's been at Madison Square Garden this year. With the Knicks on fire during the regular season and in the playoffs, and the New York Rangers President's Trophy winners reaching the conference finals. Obviously, we were hoping for the finals, but what a year. So impressed with this team. So many players, took so many steps in their development. Think about Lafreniere had an incredible year. Igor was the wall in the playoffs. It was just fun to watch.
Yeah. You think about where we ended up now versus where we started. Mika early on in season 2, the whole season in front of us. And it's been really fun to watch that unit gel. Because on paper at the beginning of the season, they looked great, but they played great all season and they only got better.
Yeah. No, their ability to find ways to win was pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
And the city is just so much more fun when sports teams, especially Madison Square Garden, when they do well with the Knicks and the Rangers. I had so much fun going to all these games, and I know for a fact a lot of fans had a blast coming to Madison Square Garden throughout this season. So congrats to both teams.
Yeah.
Awesome year.
Big step forward. And we deserve two teams that are that good. And the thing about both of those teams this season, Knicks and the Rangers, is that you could really sense that they were teams rather than a collection of great players. And there's a difference when you can see the energy and the chemistry on ice or on the court. They love playing,
It's a great point. You could feel it. You could see it throughout the year, how close they were, how much they worked for each other.
Yeah. And
it goes such a long way when you play team sports, obviously. Yeah. You need to rely on your top guys, role players, but in the end, you need to become a team. And we saw that from both the Knicks and the Rangers this year. So congrats to both teams again on a great season. So looking back at our season here at Club 30, it was a fun one. We started off with the Knicks legend, Allen Houston.
Yeah.
Wiz.
Yeah, we had Sam Morrell.
Sam Morrell.
Yeah, who has a studio right next door.
Our neighbor.
Our neighbor.
Oh, that was fun with Wiz, the pilot, talking about flying missions overseas. Harvey.
Our boy.
Yeah, catching up and brought us back too, like 10, 12 years, right?
Totally. Walk down memory lane with Harv.
Memory lane. That was awesome.
Then we had two super women. We had Connie. Awesome.
That brought me back to Sweden, I remember, just because I remember watching her Spin City. Great show. She was fun and very, very warm.
Totally. And we got to make fun of Taylor. We needled him a little bit, Taylor Kitsch. So he's going to come on next season, we're hoping.
Oh, we hope. We hope.
Taylor, if you're listening.
A lot of pressure here to step up.
Yeah.
Tara?
Yeah, another walk down memory lane with Tara. We've known her for a long time, too.
We have.
Yeah, and that was cool.
Are we getting old, Jay?
I'm not sure if the verb is getting, or I think we are old.
Time is flying by here.
I know. When you're talking about friendships in New York that from 15 years ago, I think we're old.
All right.
But we're wearing it pretty well,
At least that's what we think.
Yeah, it's Thursday afternoon. I got a drink in my hand.
Yeah, exactly. Smart.
Yeah.
And then we had on Dr. Eric Roselli.
That was awesome.
Fun to reconnect again. And like I told you last week, it's always fun to see him outside a hospital. It's just a better vibe, in my opinion.
Yeah. I loved just listening into Eric's approach and like his calling has always been medicine. I thought that was a great chat.
Yeah. I mean, we've been talking about this here at Club 30, why we do it. In the end, it's about getting to know people better, and we really have that opportunity here.
Yeah.
And I hope our listeners feel the same way. But we do have a wide range of guests.
Totally.
Speaking of, today we don't have a guest. Well, actually, our guest today is you, the listener. So we asked a few days ago for some questions.
Yep.
And today we're going to answer them.
That's right. And if you are watching, you'll notice that Hank doesn't have his cards in his hand, and he's a little fidgety, which means he's nervous because he hasn't seen these. I have. And shout out to the Club 30 production team who went through all of our social channels and DMs and put together a bunch of hot seat questions for Hank. But it'll be a good time just to hear from our listeners.
I think we should get going.
Let's get into it. You ready, Hanky?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Episode 24, Ask Hank Anything. All right, from Twitter, what is the best away arena you've ever played in? And considering factors from clubhouse to staff to venue, what's the best away rink you've...
Best away rink. I always enjoyed Chicago, probably because I love the national anthem there. It always set the tone.
Good.
Great city. The arena was great. Locker room was pretty good. Not great, but good enough.
Yeah. Do you really care about the quality of the away locker room?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you do?
I love when it's a good locker room. I need space.
Okay. Best locker rooms in the NHL then?
Well, some of the new rinks are just awesome. Edmonton has a beautiful rink.
Yeah.
Their locker rooms are insane. Their visiting room is as good as the home team locker rooms in most arenas.
Wow.
So they did a great job at that rink.
Yeah. How do guys describe the visitors' room at MSG?
I hope they're not too good.
Because your locker room's
you don't, again,
sick.
To me, it matters. So
Yeah.
if you go to a visiting locker room, you don't want it to be too good. I think they're okay. I haven't really spent much time in there, so I can't really tell you. But
yeah. Just curious.
You don't want to give your visiting team too many advantages, right? So if it's a little smaller and not great, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, maybe that is a motivator, though.
I think, especially in the playoffs, when you go to certain rinks and the ventilation is not great, your equipment doesn't really dry that well.
Hey.
So the trainers have to work so hard to bring their extra fans and to have these machines just to keep the room dry.
Right.
Because I hated showing up to practice the next day or the game and the equipment was soggy, But again, the trainers are so good at work, especially in the playoffs when you spend more than 2 days there.
Right, you can kind of set up.
Yeah, you set up,
Yeah.
exactly. But
I can smell that from here. All right. Next question from Insta. Can you describe the feeling when you step on the ice at MSG?
The feeling. I remember, you stand in the locker room and you look up at the clock. Usually you walk out. It's 2 minutes, 10 seconds to go. The adrenaline starts going up. Your heart starts racing a little bit. And as you're walking out the locker room, you grab your stick and then you walk through this glass hallway. That's when you start hearing the fans. And then everything you're feeling just start to increase.
Yeah.
And if it's a big game, playoffs, it's just, you can't wait to get out there. One, because you're so excited, but two, kind of nervous too. And you just want to get going and make those first couple saves.
Sure.
But the excitement is so high. And I always felt that pressure walking out. Doesn't matter if it was, game one or preseason or playoffs. You felt like, okay, I need to bring it here.
Yeah. Almost every episode, we somehow get onto the topic of mental preparation and mental fortitude. How did you square the adrenaline and the nerves with how you were most effective on the ice?
Well, I think, one, you don't stress about the fact that you're nervous or all the emotions going on. It's just part of it. You know the feeling because you feel it every other day for 6 months. And then in the playoffs, it's even more. Just embrace the feeling of uncertainty, being nervous, excited. You're welcoming that feeling.
Yeah.
And it's part of it. And if you don't feel it, it's almost like, what's going on? But I always felt that.
That's what I was going to say, is that when you don't feel that it means it's not important, right?
I have to say, I always felt that. I think I played over 1,000 games, playoffs, regular season, and every game you felt it.
Yeah.
But of course, you feel it more for bigger games. Stakes are higher, pressure is higher.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Awesome. Okay, next one is from Twitter. Hank, what differences do you see in Igor's style versus your own? And along those lines, how much influence does the coach's overall D system affect the goalie style? In other words, have you, Igor, or Benny, shout out to Benny, ever modified your technique based on how the team plays in front of you? Thanks. Let's go Rangers.
I definitely see similarities between me and Igor. He has a very high stance before he gets ready for each shot. You can see him be pretty upright, and then he gets set for each shot. And I think it allows him to be more patient, and he reads the shot really well.
Yeah.
And that was something I try to do as well. And on face-offs, a lot of times you see him not being all the way down with the full blade on the ice. It's more keep it in the air a little bit just to be a little bit more loose. I think the way he reads the game is similar to me. He just have a really strong technique. A lot of these new moves that I didn't do them. It was not part of goaltending between 05 and 15. And now you see a lot more reverse VH, and it's been developing over the last 7-8 years, I think. Mm-hmm. Towards the end of my career, I did it a little bit, but he's so good there. Technically, he's so smooth.
Yeah.
And you see that every 10, 15 years in the league, goaltending, it just improves so much, the technique. But there's certain things that stays the same. And I would say that's the stance you have, getting ready for a shot. Everybody has a different way of doing it, but in the end, it's very similar to going back 20 years. And we had a similar stance like that, a little higher.
Yeah.
And then the way you can read the plays and anticipate, that doesn't change. So I would say we're similar there. In terms of adjusting to your team's play, you don't do that very much as a goalie. You have your style of play, but you try to be aware of what type of chances do we give up as a team, and do I need to make any adjustments that way? How much I challenge in certain situations, playing 2-on-1 or 3-on-2. What are we trying to accomplish there as a team? And having that back in my head will maybe affect me how much I challenge someone on the angle, for example.
Got it.
And then with Benny, he allows you to play your style, but there's definitely some rules we try to stay within, and a framework that we use. But I think it's important that you allow whoever you are as a goalie play your style, because that's what brought you to that.
That's right. Yeah, I was gonna just from
moment
listening to a lot of your commentary on the position of the goaltender, where you're always reacting. So you really want to be able to assert your strengths where you can, because you're in this reactive mode anyway. So maybe adjusting to another team's style, that's giving away that assertion, that ability to assert your strength.
Yeah, exactly. You need to play with what you're good at, right? But I think goaltending is all about anticipate not only one, but sometimes 2 steps ahead. Yeah. And that's why it's so important to be aware and locate where are the players. You look at the players coming down the wing with the puck. Is he looking to shoot? Is he looking to pass? Is there 1 or 2 options?
Yeah.
It's so important to keep looking around. You can't be locked in on the puck.
Sure.
Because then you will be surprised.
Yeah. Yeah. How much of this is a Jay question, not a listener question. Valley has this business where he goes really deep on data. Did you use a lot of that kind of insight and data to drive the way you set up?
Not really, no. Yeah. I think that it really took off, I'm going to say 10 years ago. It's been used for a long time, but I think the way teams are using it now and some players really took off. I'm going to say 10 years. So towards the end of my career, there was definitely more numbers. I remember they're putting up more numbers on our board at practice rink just to get more feedback to the players. But for me personally, it didn't really, I didn't use it that much for my game. It was more watching tape and see tendencies in my own play, what I needed to improve.
I'm trying to square like the influx and like the kind of this preponderance of data in the game now with some of the styles we see from goaltending. Like, it's statistically more likely that you will stop this in this situation if you're in this position. And then people use it kind of as a crutch. Like, oh, this is what I have to do. Rather than play
it's a good question. I think certain moves are great when used at the right time.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just overused and you get hurt by it. And back to talking about Igor and reading the play and anticipate. If you understand what could happen next, not the next pass, but the next pass. And even after that, is reverse VH really the right decision from that angle where the puck is at? Or it all comes down to, one, where's the puck right now, but also what's going on around the puck.
Yeah.
And how many options is out there.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's good. All right, next question is from Instagram. Please put together your All-Star Ranger team from your years. And you're in goal, of course, that's in parentheses, including or factoring in locker room chemistry. So in your career, you put together your all-star mix, including locker room dudes.
Throughout my career. Okay, we start on D. I mean, I love Danny Girardi. He was such a good teammate. He brought it every game. I would love for him to be out there. Then I know we're going to block a lot of shots too. That's good.
In the right way.
In the right way.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to need a good power play specialist up there too. Keith Yandel is awesome. Great guy too.
Great guy.
Great guy and such a smart player. Up front, I mean, we got to go with Yager, center. Just heavy, holding on to pucks. One of the best of all time. Maybe helps too.
Yeah, not so bad. Yeah, we'll put him in there.
Now it gets a little trickier. Let's go on the wing. Gabrick with his speed. He's a funny guy too. He was always making fun of my English, even though his English wasn't that good.
Yeah,
he was all over me. But yeah, his speed. He scored, I think, 40 goals back-to-back years when he arrived in New York. So one more, Mr. Net Front. Chris Kreider. Keep him in front of the net. We're gonna score a lot of easy goals that way. Just throw it to the net, and he'll do the rest. Yeah,
that's good.
Let's throw number 20 in there as well.
Love it. What about just based on locker room, like the best glue guys? This is a Jay question, not an Instagram question. Who are the best glue guys?
So
locker
many
room
options there. My goodness.
First three that come to mind.
I mean, first three that comes to mind because I played such a long time with them.
Yeah.
You had Stahl, Callie, and Girardi. They were always funny and great in the locker room. Zuccarello.
Zook.
Hagelin. You know, all great. There's been so many great teammates. Yeah. I can think of so many guys that they made it fun every day you came to the rink.
Totally.
I love that.
Yeah. I'm thinking back to when you first started and the guys I got to know through you.
Oh, Strudwick. Jason Strudwick. What a beauty that was.
Hallwig. Orts.
I mean, you can
go forever.
Yeah, go forever.
All right, moving on. From Instagram, what's the weirdest thing a fan has ever said to you?
I'm not lying, but I have the worst memory. I feel like it's getting worse too. It's not weird, but it's just very common. People think I'm my brother a lot, and there's been some funny incidents, especially going back to Sweden, where people start talking and halfway through the conversation, I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not who you think I am. Like, it's just it's part of being a twin, I guess. That's what comes to mind. All these awkward moments where people get into it, and like, I don't know, sometimes you don't know if you should cut them off or just play along. And but in terms of in arena stuff, my memory just sucks.
That's okay. You're in the zone. Also from Insta, what was your reaction the very first time you heard the nickname The King, and has your feelings towards that nickname changed over the years?
Well, I heard it the first time during my rookie year, and I remember I was laughing. There was someone on the street, and it happened a couple of times. But
yeah, it was from the Larry Brooks column, right?
Yeah,
originally.
Yeah, my rookie year, exactly. I don't know. I always tried to have fun with it, not take it too seriously, and you know, of course, I've felt it over the years that people like, especially opponents, you know, you're going to.
It's an easy one to chirp you out.
Yeah. It's like you can't ever live up to it. It's hard. So that's why it's funny when people really take it personal when you go on the road. It's like, King, what do you mean, King?
Yeah.
Just laugh.
I like the imagery, and I like how you've taken it less seriously. You know, kings aren't elected; they're appointed by some sort of divine right. So I feel like you earned the top step rather than, you know, somebody appointed you. So
well, we can agree on it's almost impossible to live up to it, but it's been
it's better than like the sponge or like something like that.
Yeah, no, New York has been awesome throughout my career with that and the yelling on the street, and it's funny. There's been some funny moments, that's for sure.
Another one from Insta. Ooh, this is a good one, Hanky. If you could play guitar on a tour for one band, who would that band be? Entire tour. I know the answer to this one, though.
I would say there's a couple options. Foo Fighters, Dave Grohl, I think he's awesome. Hang with Dave for a summer. Why not?
It sounds perfect. I knew that was going to be your answer as well. And this borders on slightly creepy, but this is good. From Instagram, as a diehard Rangers fan, I came to love the Dallas Stars after your brother Joel played there for part of his career. This is a real super fan, but we love him. What is the most valuable lesson your brother taught you throughout your life?
When I look at my brother, he's all about hard work and extremely loyal and supportive. I think those are his best qualities, and it's something that really helped me, you know, growing up, competing, and I think that was the biggest thing for us, supporting each other.
Yeah.
But to see your twin brother and ultimately your best friend, you know, work extremely hard every day, I think it wears off. Hopefully he's felt the same about me.
Yeah.
You know, but we love to compete and train every day. We spend hours every day, you know, playing and try to improve. That answer.
No, it's good. That's good. Shout out to Joel. In his first year of retirement, crushing it.
Yeah, he's doing great.
Yeah.
Back in Sweden, a little TV and a lot of speaking.
Not working
leadership.
any less hard. He
likes
crushing
it.
Yeah, he's good. From Insta, knowing that the sport you love is ultimately a business, how did you manage the joy of the game with the pressure to perform?
I think at times, as an athlete, it gets away from you a little bit while you play to the point. Like you feel so much pressure and maybe things are not going exactly the way you want. And you start thinking about it the wrong way. There was many times where you had to just remind yourself how much fun the actual game is. If you take away everything, just remember how it was to play the game when you started.
Yeah,
it's still the same game. It's just a lot of things added along the way. But when you bring back that feeling you had when you start playing the game, and even I remember so many times standing on the ice, looking down during warm-ups, going into a big game. And I just told myself, this game is so much fun. And you just start thinking about why it's so much fun, the competition, the opportunity to challenge yourself against the best players in the world. And you just stay there. You don't think about the rest. You don't think about how many people that are expecting something out of you, the pressure from the team or fans or media, or you just look and really feel inside, what do I feel about the actual game? And that's it. And that brought me joy, and it calmed me down every time.
Yeah, that's great. You know, I was just, as you were talking, I was thinking about, you're skilled enough to never really have to weigh those two things, the business and the joy, because you're always the number one guy.
I think the first day when you arrive here, it's very different. When you sign in Europe, you know the team. From mid-July, it's 20 guys, 2 goalies. That's it. But then when you come here, you start camp at 55 players. And every 4 days, it's less players. So there's decisions to be made, and there's nothing that, yes, you signed up for it, so you understand the rules. But I think in that moment, you also understand this is a big business, and it's a big competition to earn your spot. But there's a lot that goes into those decisions. It's a puzzle. You need to piece everything in with contracts. And I think players understand that pretty early, just the way decisions are made. And then, of course, every couple of years, you have to renegotiate contracts. And yeah, it's a constant reminder that it's a sport, but it's also a business.
Yeah. From Instagram, this one might make you think. Inspired by the new NHL presence in Utah, if you were the owner of your own expansion team, what would be your ideal city, and what would be their mascot, branding, and colors? So basically, Hank, just take out the notepad over there. Write down a little business plan. No, so let's keep it simple. Let's simplify this a little bit. You are the Jordan of the NHL. You want to, buy an expansion team. What do they look like? And where would you put them? It doesn't matter if there's already a team there. Let's just.
Oh, okay. Well, if you start a new team, you need a big market. I definitely think Toronto could have at least one more team. And it would be cool to have a team in such a big market where hockey is,
of that.
It means so much. It would be hard to put another team in New York.
Yeah, I think we're full here.
We're full.
But good point on Toronto.
Toronto is such a big market, and they could definitely handle another team there. And in terms of colors, maybe we'll mix in some Swedish colors.
Blue and gold?
Blue and gold, blue and yellow. In terms of mascot, I mean, I'm going to have to get back to you on that.
Guy in a suit, 3-piece suit.
A moose.
A moose in a suit. From Twitter, loving the pod. Thank you. Curious if there's anything Hank can attribute to getting so good so fast on TV. Media is a totally different beast, but he looks as comfy as ever on both MSG and TNT.
Oh, well, thank you. I don't know. I just try to be myself. I think playing here for 15 years and obviously 4 or 5 years in Sweden with media, it's a big part of what you do every day, especially being the goalie.
Yeah.
They always came up to you after every game you played, a lot of practice days, you talk to media. But I have to say, it is different, though, to sit in a studio and analyze and watch the game. I think I'm lucky to work with guys that understands the game really well. They have one way to talk about it, analytics. And for me, a lot of times I just try to bring in my own experience. Still being pretty fresh out of the game. I still remember how I felt through almost every situation, when good things happen, when bad things happen, goals, wins, losses. It's still very fresh to me. So I try to bring that into account when I talk about the game, and hopefully that could be something that the viewer appreciate, hopefully.
Yep. Great. I can tell you, Reed's is totally authentic, and I feel like you get less nervous when you're behind the booth than you're in the Club 30 seat.
Well, this is a little bit out of my element.
Yeah, it's good though
to have guests, and hockey's, it's my life. I've been doing it for a long time, so there's a different confidence there, I guess.
Yeah, great question from Instagram. If you could add one rule to the NHL, what would it be?
Add one rule.
Or maybe take away one. If you could change a rule.
I would probably take away the offside challenge. I think that play is more flow thing. And if it's a half an inch off, it has such an impact when you call goals back. So yeah, I would probably get rid of that one.
Yeah.
I hate to see when they score a gorgeous goal and they take it back for
and they're
offside with a half millimeter.
The same thing happens in soccer football.
Yeah.
Like, they go to the VAR and like the flow of the game's totally gone, and the game's beautiful because of the flow. Yeah. It's not because we want to make it millimeter perfect. Or sorry for the Americans here, the inch perfect, right? And as long as you're respecting the spirit of the rule, and it's not egregious.
And the refs are pretty close on being right almost every time.
That's right.
Because they go with the flow, and they're good. Because you still need to make a couple more plays before you score on an offside. I think if it's a high stick or kicked in, that's a different story. Then I want the right call. But on an offside, I feel like it's more of a flow play, and I wouldn't mind if it went away.
Agreed. From Twitter, hi Hank. There's more to that. Do you have a coach, teammate, or family member that you feel influenced you the most as a player? All right, strike family member. We already talked about Joel. He's number one. Get rid of that.
Yeah.
Coach or teammate who influenced you the most as a player?
Well, it's pretty easy. Working with Benoit Allaire for 15 years, I talked to him pretty much every day, being at the rink, and he challenged me throughout my entire career. Try to be better, working hard, great attitude. So easy answer on that one. Benoit Allaire has had a huge effect on me as a player. Nice.
That's a little throwback to season 2 and the Hall of Fame episode when we had Joel on. It was awesome to get to hang out with Benoit and his wife in Toronto for the Hall of Fame ceremony. It's definitely a super special moment for him, to be recognized.
As he should.
Yeah.
He played a huge part throughout my career in the way he inspired me and pushed me.
Yeah.
He really did.
Love it. From Twitter, what was your favorite season with the Rangers?
I mean, I loved my rookie year because everything was just, there was so much happening and it was so much to take in, and my dream came true. You get to play here for the Rangers, and it was just unreal. But after that, you raised the bar, right? And I think we had many years where, we were fighting to get in, but it was still a lot of fun because we had a great locker room, great guys, a lot of fun. It's hard to pick one year. I mean, if you strictly look at results, we had that window of between 12 and 15 where we're making it to the conference finals 3 times, and we had some good teams there. But there's so much that goes into if it's a fun year, it's the locker room, it's the guys, it's the energy that's in going to practice, or I can't say there's one other than my first year because there was so much. After that, I felt like every year was fun. Every year was awesome for different reasons, but we always had a good locker room, in my opinion. Obviously, that year making it to the finals in 14 was special. It was just the way we came back in the series against Pittsburgh and just a lot of big moments.
Yeah,
that was awesome too.
Yeah. The garden was buzzing. From Twitter, what's more cathartic, squirting Crosby with water or punching Max Pacioretty?
I was definitely more mad when I went after Max up in Montreal. I remember that play. Came in and kind of ran over me a little bit. Sometimes nothing bothers you, and sometimes, when people cross the line, players cross the line, if they bump in or slash you, you react more aggressively. And it just depends on that moment where you're at. Spraying some water on Sid there, it was just, I wasn't mad. I was just a little, he was going after my teammates, so that I had to do something. But no, I remember that play with Max up in Montreal. I was pretty feisty there.
Yeah. Switching gears from Instagram, and I think I may be in a good position to answer this too. The best place to visit in the Gothenburg archipelago.
Oh, I love the entire coast there. There's so many nice, cute villages on the ocean. You have Marstrand, it's a little island. You have Smögen, Grebbestad.
What's the little town where I first met Freddie Sjustrom with the little shrimps? We walked into that big group dinner, and Freddie is ordering these platters and platters of tiny little shrimp.
And we were talking about the old or former Ranger.
Yeah.
Freddie Sjustrom. That was in Lysekil.
That's a hard one to pronounce, guys.
Yeah. Lysekil. But yeah, the entire coast north of Gothenburg is awesome during the summer, and highly recommend it if you ever visit the west coast of Sweden to get a boat and just cruise around these different villages on the ocean.
We had your bachelor party at one of those towns, or we ended up there.
Yeah, we were on a couple islands.
Yeah,
but ended up in Marstrand.
Marstrand.
That's right.
And I remember it was you, me, and Louie late night. I have photos of it somewhere.
Yeah, that old castle.
The castle.
Yeah. That was a great crew.
That was fun. All right, we're going to wrap up the Q&A and kind of get to a conclusion for episode 24 here soon. But from Insta, best burger in New York City.
Okay, a couple options. I can't pick one. I actually went when I worked the network. So we were across the street from MSG. There's a smash burger just a block away. And they have this burger, Colorado burger. It's unreal from Smash Burger.
Huh. What's on it?
I just know it's a little spicy, but everything is just, the sauce is great. The lettuce, tomato, onions. The bun is great. Double patty, large cheese. Mm-hmm. It's just, I might have to swing by after we're done here.
We may have to go for a quick burger, even though we have dinner after this.
It's so good. La Cheval, very good. Hillstone, great burger. So those would be my top 3.
Got it. I got a recommendation for you to try because I just tried it the other day. It's called No One, Nowon, East Village Korean burger place. And the burger sauce, it's usually like the kind of the pinkish mayo-y. It's that, but spicy, made with kimchi and the mayo. This burger's unbelievable. And they have 2 different ones. They have like a smash burger, double patty style. Burger to bun ratio is perfect. It's not too bready, so you're not like chewing through a sponge before you get to the real stuff. And then their other one is like a Pat LaFrieda steak burger. Both of them, like 9 out of 10. And they deliver. Here's the important thing. Sometimes you don't want to go to, like a tiny little place, 40 minutes away by Uber. It delivers really well.
All right, perfect.
So that's my contribution to episode 24. No One Burger. Shout out to the No One. No more questions. What do we got for the summer?
I'll spend most of the summer in Sweden. Gothenburg, West Coast. We're going to travel a little bit south of Europe, Italy, Spain. But I'll just be over there, reconnect with friends and family, hang out. We've been doing the same for 19 years. And it's an important time for me and my family to reconnect with everyone back home. And it's also nice to miss something. I love when you start to miss New York City. And July goes by and then August, and slowly it's like, I don't know, it's time. It's time to come back. And that end of August, you come back to the city, and it's so good every time, every year. That excitement you feel of being back and see you guys again, but also just reconnecting with the city again, and the energy is awesome here in the fall as well. So
yeah, I think you can tell if you're like a real New Yorker, not by the amount of years you've lived here, but by how you feel when you come over that rise on the LIE from landing and you see the skyline for the first time. Like fuck yeah, we're back.
We're back.
I kind of feel that every time I land, but it's especially powerful after you've been away for a while.
Yeah, no, listen, it's a great feeling to miss something, and I do every summer. I'm again, it's important to be back in Sweden and reconnect with everyone and chill. But those first few days coming back to the cities is I remember that year 3, being here. That's when it felt like I think I'm coming home now.
Yeah,
that's what it felt like.
Yeah,
and now we're 15 years later.
Yeah,
just love it. I love it here. Love the energy. What I do, the people I meet. How about you, Jay? Summer plans?
Yeah, we spend a lot of time at the beach in New Jersey, which we love, and back and forth between here and there in the city, which would be good. But similar, my daughter turns 1 in a couple of weeks, so I'm bringing my family down from Canada to hang out for the week there and celebrate that birthday. Not that she'll know what it is, but party for the adults.
Yep.
And then we're gonna head over hopefully to Italy, Europe, in July, and bring the babe and expose her to pasta and all the good stuff that Italy has. But yeah, that's it. Get some exercise and stay present and stay grateful. That's the plan.
I love it. Just want to wish everyone a great summer. Enjoy it, and see you in the fall.
Yeah, thanks as always for your support, for all the great questions, for listening, watching. It's great to have you guys along for the ride. We love what we do. We're getting better. We're excited to come back for season 4.
Yep. All the best, guys.